Okay, we're ready to go here.
You have 1 more second?
We're recording.
I should just get up again. And that would not even be my different than what I have.
Call to order a special common council meeting Wednesday, January 11th, 6:46 p.m. Roll call.
Fry,
Here.
McIntyre,
Yes.
Dean,
Here.
Candy Davis,
Yes.
Walnut,
Yes.
Paul Davis.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to have the Boy Scouts that were here for a visit come up and start the Pledge of Allegiance. It's not on the agenda, but we are going to still do the Pledge of Allegiance, so stick over here to the side a little bit.
To the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
You guys.
Confirmation of appropriate meeting notice.
Meeting was noticed on Friday, January 6th. Agenda is posted at the post office, library, and city hall.
Okay, the next item is to discuss and consider requests from Harry Potter Festival organizers. We're going to do these one by one on the list and take motions for each one as we go. And if there's anyone that wishes to speak on it in the audience, we ask that you come up to the podium so that it can be recorded. Otherwise, it doesn't pick everybody up out in the audience here. So,
Mayor, before we proceed, I believe Alder Fry had want to present to the council.
Mr. Mayor, in the interest of ethics and integrity, I feel there might be a perceived conflict of interest with myself and the organizers of the Harry Potter Festival, and as such, I will be recusing myself from discussion and from vote.
okay, thank you. Do you want to stay up here? Do you want to?
No, I will be excusing myself from the room.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay. We'll go to the first item here, and that is the City of Edgerton pay for all services such as garbage, street barricades, highway signs, police overtime, the security. In the packet with the memo there is the numbers for that. And what we normally do for the other festivals in the past, I'm sure you all have an idea what that is. So.
I'm going to go ahead and make a motion. I'm going to make a motion that the City of Edgerton pay for half the police overtime up to $2,500. And as far as the line item number 1 goes, that's the only motion that I am making regarding any of these requests under number 1.
I'll second.
And just for information, for those of you who don't follow those, that's the common policy of the city for festivals, is to pay for half of the police overtime attributable to the festival.
Okay, so we're leaving out the garbage and...
Correct, other than what the city generally would do for other festivals.
Well, this indicates cost for extra garbage collection. So would we have a standard procedure for other festivals? Yeah. So this is just for the extra?
Correct. And
okay.
That's what happened in 2016, which is why this is on the list.
Right. Okay, thank you.
So extras is not part of the motion?
So the motion just covers up to $2,500 of security costs?
Correct.
Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, roll call.
Walnuts,
Yes.
Candy Davis,
Yes.
Paul Davis,
Yes.
McIntyre,
Yes.
Steen,
Dig up there.
Yes.
I thought one of the kids backed into it. That motion passes. Next item is, we'd like the city to, parking lot at the Depot Cafe closed and devoid of cars by 12:01 a.m. on October 18th, which is a Wednesday, to reopen at 5 p.m. on October 23rd, which is a Monday.
We have one note in front of you regarding that piece of that request, to make you aware of that.
Okay, I see at least one hand in the audience here. Come on up, Larry, and state your name and address for the record, please.
Hi there. My name is Larry Belushi. I own a few businesses downtown here. As far as the parking is concerned, I have a little bit of an issue with that. Yes, the Harry Potter Festival is a great deal. It's good for the community. It brings people to town, which is great. But as a business owner, downtown business owner, to close my, parking that's allowed to customers doing everyday business on, that would be hard for us, especially Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. By the time the fences are gone and everything else to the Main Street, Monday, probably by noon or afternoon, it would just affect my businesses downtown. So, that's one issue that I have with that. There's just a lot of regulars that come down, and parking right now is a little bit of an issue, as we all know it, for all of downtown, especially with all the businesses down there. Thank you.
Thank you. Chief.
Just to address Larry's concerns there. After last year's the learning experience of what we did in a short time span, there's some things that we learned from that we could probably change to accommodate some things and make some changes in that downtown parking issue, because that was one of the issues that they had after was the evening parking and things like that. But after seeing everything that we saw and a lot of thinking on how things could be done differently, there's ideas and thoughts out there to do some changes.
Just so we're clear, we're talking about the parking lot right in front of the cafe, or the depot, right? Not like behind the buildings and that. Just that more open area?
This is number 2, I believe. You're just talking about number 2, not number 3 or 4.
Exactly, yeah, that's what I mean.
Correct, that's what I believe.
I'm figuring we are on number 2, so.
That's what I believe to be
But
the case.
not the parking behind Fulton Square? Is that your question?
Is that included in this?
No.
I didn't think so. Okay, I thought it was just that section that actually goes up to the street.
Correct.
Chief Kluberton, some of the suggestions and learnings from last year, would that help with voting on this number 2? Have you got ideas you'd like to share? That might make a difference between how many days we would have this blocked off and for the period of time?
Well, if you recall last year, just depending, if the festivals was to remain, as last year's how it was done, was blocking off keeping the street open but blocking the sidewalks to accommodate pedestrian traffic. And making decisions like that in a short notice, that was our best plan. Mm-hmm. I think this year, if we're planning on, I think the organizers are planning on a bigger event and more people coming in and trying to accommodate larger crowd and trying to accommodate the downtown businesses. I think closing off downtown Fulton Street during the day is an option, and opening it up later, early evening or so, to accommodate parking downtown.
Thank you.
Yeah, how would that happen? Do you have any idea of doing some barricades, Chris, like we do during tobacco days? We during the car show, shut Fulton Street down for 3-4 hours.
I don't think shutting the street down completely is the parking on the street.
Okay.
That isn't a request here, shutting the street down. Again, for clarification.
Right, Tom was talking about
and
that,
the
comment
topic
on
number 2 is really just the parking lot by the depot, not even the Fulton Street issue. So I think the motion, if there is one made, will be regarding closing that parking lot and the duration of closing that parking lot.
How long was it closed last year, Scott, the parking lot? Whoops.
Yeah, it's here.
Scott, how long was the parking lot closed last year during Harry Potter?
Scott's not here.
Oh, sorry about that.
No, that's okay. The city parking lot by the Depot Cafe was closed Friday morning through, it was open
Thursday morning.
Sorry about that, Chris.
Yeah, so if I recall, yeah, it was supposed to be Friday and the weekend, and then at the last minute, you guys decided that you need a little bit of time to set the tents and other stuff up. So they came before the council and we allowed them an extra day or half a day.
Thursday morning,
Right.
Monday.
Hi, my name is Dr. John Petrie. I'm the owner of Petrie Chiropractic and Wellness. While I agree wholeheartedly with the Harry Potter Festival, increasing the amount of time that we need to basically close our doors, really in my eyes, is kind of unacceptable. This last year, we were under the understanding that we were going to have to close for Saturday morning, Friday, and then at the last minute, we ended up having to reschedule most of our patients for Thursday. That in essence meant that a little over 100 people couldn't receive care in my facility. With the scheduled closure that we have, or proposed closure that we have, it would mean closer to 275 people that wouldn't be able to receive care in my office. As a small business owner, especially in Edgerton, that's a big deal, especially when we try and contribute to a lot of the local community funds that are out there, whether it's Gifts for Kids, whether it's the schools, whether it's youth football, baseball. We really try and be good ambassadors for this city. And really to close us down for really a week that's going to be tough. That'll be a tough pill for us to swallow. And although there's parking behind the building, a lot of the people that come in and see us, really they aren't in the best shape. They're going to be walking long distances or able to walk those long distances to get into our office. So while I agree with the festival and I really do back it, just to close that parking lot for that extended period of time would be very detrimental to my office.
I have a question. What would you think would be acceptable?
You know, last year we closed down for parades, we closed down for, tobacco days for the car show, we closed down for Chili Mania. I mean, we closed down for different things, and that's part of being in Edgerton, and we enjoy it. To me, what would be reasonable, what was on the verge of reasonable or the very edge of reasonable was what we had this last year. I mean...
So that's Friday.
If it was Friday and Saturday,
okay.
I could absolutely live with that.
You could live with that,
Was
okay.
it Thursday
It was
through?
Thursday, it was half a day. Really, what it broke down to is half a day Thursday.
Yeah.
Because when they came in to put up the tents, we still had our little front row.
Right, because the festival, it actually was on Friday, if I recall, right, Rob? Okay.
It was.
Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, for me, I'm all for that. I would have no trouble with that whatsoever. And especially this year, at least we would be able to plan for that. Last year, it was kind of a last, it seemed to us
Yeah.
like it was a last minute,
Yeah.
by the way, we're going to be setting up on Thursday. So,
Good.
just if we could take that into consideration.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Blair?
Just a little, I mean, I don't know, before we keep going down this list and, making decisions, I mean, has the city or the Harry Potter Festival ever, have you guys thought about, maybe I'm speaking out of line, but Racetrack Park, for example, which is still in the community, that can host, it's big enough to host all these people that are coming to town, there's plenty of parking. People are still gonna, obviously that are in town, gonna come downtown, support the business downtown, and Edgerton, which is all about. But I think by having it at an area like that wouldn't hurt a lot of the downtown businesses. Yes, it's good to have it downtown, it's great, but it's just such a long week long weekend. And I think, you know, last year I had, you know, even at Two Brothers, Red Baron, two of my establishments. Now this year I have another one that we're opening. It was just a lot of my regulars, which support us throughout the whole year and not just, you know, for a weekend, said, you know, we're staying away from downtown. We're not coming downtown. And this was Friday night, started, you know, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, seeing Zorro regulars. And it was nice to see the faces, you know. You see those faces maybe once a year if we're lucky. But I think by having it out at Racetrack Park or in another area in the city, I think would be good for regulars. It would be good for a lot of people coming to town because they just have to drive through downtown to get there and see everybody here. So just a little recommendation. I don't know if you guys want to have a little discussion on that or, you know, what's, you know, whole Harry Potter, you know, team and everybody's thoughts are. Just wanted to say that before we continue. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody have any thoughts or motions on the number 2?
I'll make a motion that the depot parking lot be closed from noon on Thursday to 5 p.m. on October 23rd.
Is there a second?
So that's Monday, just for, again, anyone who doesn't have a calendar with them.
And actually, once I get a second, I'd like to ask a question.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, now you can have discussion.
All right, I just want to know what is the purpose of having it closed on Monday? If anybody can answer that.
How's that to me? For cleanup, make sure everything gets out on time and the companies have time to get it out.
The lot was open on Monday this last year, and it seemed like everything was cleaned up in a fairly reasonable amount of time. I mean, Monday's another one of our incredibly long days and an important day for us. I don't see why Monday is all of a sudden we need to add days on the beginning and the end.
And I think I understood you to say that Thursday was a important day for your business too.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
Honestly, every day is
Right.
important for us, but I'm also trying to look at the community and say, you know,
Right.
I think this festival is important, and I think it brings some really good things to the community. But I
Right.
also have employees that I'm responsible for looking out for their well-being too.
Could I make a friendly amendment to that, just because it didn't have the days of the week printed here, so I was trying to get my stuff together to figure out what days of the week it was. I'd like to eliminate Monday and have it by 9 p.m. on Sunday, if I may. That's my second, I'll second that again.
Is that okay with the second?
Yeah, the second for that too, that's fine.
So would you repeat that? That would be Thursday noon?
Thursday noon until Sunday 9 p.m.
Any more discussion here?
While I agree, and the festival is absolutely an awesome thing, I think hearing from Dr. Petrie was very important. Some of the other businesses in town, so it sounds as though if we could keep that parking lot open on Thursday, it would be very beneficial. So.
Any thoughts on a different time on Thursday for closing it?
5 o'clock, or, I mean, opening up at 5 versus, or closing at 5 versus?
Close it on Thursday at 5?
Versus, what was the motion?
4 o'clock would mean all the difference in the world.
You know, a couple extra hours.
I don't know if you want
I
to...
can, if possible, I'll again make a friendly amendment. to the
I would
motion.
feel better about Thursday at 4.
I'm fine with
End of
that,
the day.
if that's what people feel is
Okay.
suitable, I mean, I guess we kind of have to look out for
Can he
businesses
do it
doing
on
something,
Exactly.
you know, that are
Or should we?
utilizing
Probably
those businesses.
It'd be better to
yeah.
vote it down and...
And go from there.
That's a triple amendment.
I'm thinking more Thursday through Sunday, so as far as the actual times, that's, you know, I'm pretty flexible on that, but yeah, I mean, noon, 4 o'clock, whatever, I mean, if 4 o'clock is that much better for them, then that doesn't make much difference to me.
Okay, so should we have a vote on that?
So right now, there's a motion to close at noon on Thursday and be available again at 9 PM on Sunday. We'll take a roll call on that.
Wellnutz,
No.
Paul Davis,
Sorry, did I?
Noon, you were second?
Yeah, yes.
McIntyre,
No.
Steen,
No.
Candy Davis,
No.
Motion fails 4-1.
I'll make a motion that the parking lot in front of the depot be closed from Thursday at 4 PM until Sunday, 9 PM.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
A little bit more flexibility in this one.
Roll call.
Wellnutz,
Yes.
Candy Davis,
Yes.
Paul Davis,
No?
McIntyre,
Yes.
Steen,
Yes.
Motion passes 4-1. Next item is, we would like Henry Street closed and devoid of cars by 12:01 a.m. on October 19th and reopened by 11:59 p.m. on October 22nd. That's a Thursday through Sunday night.
Well, you needs to be a motion first before dialogue. I was just kind of curious how far down Henry Street would go.
To Canal.
Okay.
It also takes in that parking lot on Henry Street then.
So did we have that closed down last year? Okay.
Do we have it closed at the same time frame last year?
No, I believe it's Friday. Is that correct?
So we're extending it by one day?
It's Friday through Sunday, if I recall. Anyone want to, who was out there? That's my recollection.
Remember.
And then I guess my other question is, because we do close down part of the streets for Chili Mania, what's the time that we usually do that for? How many days?
Noon on Friday.
Noon on Friday?
Yeah, we close Henry at noon on Friday, and it's usually open again for people going to church on Sunday morning, because we get the big stuff out of the way. And
Oh, but
everything is gone by
but yours on Saturday evening?
Yeah, we're
Yep.
done on Saturday
Yep,
evening. So
okay.
the stage and all that stuff is out of there by like 3 in the morning on Sunday, so. it's
Oh,
pretty
bless
much
your heart.
Pardon?
Bless your heart.
And again, what days was it closed last year for Harry Potter? If anybody can answer that.
I believe it was midnight or 12:01 Friday through Sunday.
On Friday? No, that was Thursday.
It was Thursday?
Yeah, because my name is Kristen Johnston, and I own 11 on Swift Salon. We use the parking lot in the back. We use Swift Street parking. It was closed last year. Barricades start to get up because they need to get all the people who utilize that, I suppose if they live in the area, to make sure they can get them out. So they start actually putting the barricades up earlier. We cannot use the parking lot at all on Friday for Chili Mania. So the same thing happened for Harry Potter. So if they're going to add one more day for Salon, Fridays and Saturdays, all days are busy, but Fridays and Saturdays are a bigger day. We also have an older clientele on those days. We all know it's Friday night fish fry, so they need to get done. It makes a difference as to how far they have to walk. And yes, you can move them closer, but they are your regular people that come every single week. And it's not just 1 and 2. There's several people that work in my salon and others. I'm not going to speak for other salons, but it just makes it very hard for them and other clients to get their services done. People can't find parking, they're late for appointments. I think adding the one more day, I think the problem is because it's just becoming this big, extended thing, and nobody pays attention to the businesses that I don't really have a lot of retail, so it's not going to bring people in to buy. They're not going to come in to buy a bunch of shampoo and hairspray when they're in here, in town for Harry Potter. They might eat at the restaurants, which I'm sure they were busy, but we actually shut down because nobody wanted to come down. And also the number of people that it said, when you're going to have, what was the number that they said, 40,000 people, or they state that there's going to be so many people? Nobody wants to come around at all.
Mm-hmm.
So now pretty soon you have people calling and canceling. I just think when you do Chili Mania, it's like 36 hours or 48 hours tops if it's going to affect a business. But once you start adding more hours, it's hard for our businesses. I got to tell the people that rent from me, I don't know what to tell you. You could stay open and wait for people to walk in, but when they're standing in line for an hour and a half to get into a exhibit or whatever they have going on, how many people are going to be like, oh, geez, I really should get my haircut today. I should really get some highlights. And I mean, it just affects the businesses sometimes that don't,
Yeah. So Chris, you're saying that when Chili Mania, they have the street closed down at 3 o'clock on Friday?
On Friday, the Henry Street.
Yep.
Probably not the street, but our parking lot that our customers.
So it impacts your business from 3 o'clock on Friday?
Actually, they can't use it all day.
That's correct, Kenny.
Yeah.
We do post it Friday through Sunday just because it takes us all morning Friday
Sure.
morning to get the cars out of there that are still there.
So then I guess my question is, how do you handle your clientele for those days during Chili Mania?
They end up getting dropped off and picked up.
Okay, but that's a little bit easier, you're saying, than
That's a lot
with
easier
this.
than when
Okay.
you're expecting these high volume of people.
Okay.
And the other thing is, when you have all those people setting up the barricades, where do they all walk into town? They come in some kind of a vehicle. They got to park somewhere, so the only street left is Swift. That's where our parking is.
No, I don't. They didn't park in town. I think they parked outside of town at...
When they're setting up for Friday?
Oh, you mean when they're that I don't know.
So you've lost
That I don't know.
Yeah, when you've lost the parking lot in the back, does everybody carpool in to come set up?
What would you see as acceptable because of your business? Probably not anything.
The same amount of time, I think we've all okayed for the Chili Mania. It's not that we're against the people coming in and helping the businesses. It's just when it affects us and we actually have to close, it's a we're a public service, like Petrie. We're helping people. And some of you might think it's not important, but to us it is. That's why we have the career.
Mm-hmm. Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to make a motion that we allow Henry Street to be closed from (3 a.m. on Friday, the 20th, to Sunday, 11:59 p.m. on the 22nd.
You said 3 a.m. Friday?
3 a.m. Friday morning to 11:59 p.m. Sunday night.
Your second.
I'll second it.
That 3 a.m. works better anyhow because they're closed from that time till 5 in the morning, so cars should be off the street by 3 a.m. because there's no parking on the streets.
Right, but then that takes the whole day
Friday
away from the business. Okay.
But it doesn't take away Thursday.
No. That's true.
What was it closed last year? Friday?
This Friday. Bruce?
Is that just a confirmation it's just down to Canal Street?
Yes.
Just to Canal?
Just to Canal.
is what we said, right?
Yeah, we need people to get in the Swift Haven, assisted living down there, and other businesses.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Wellnuts,
Yes.
Steen,
Yes.
Candy Davis,
Yes.
Paul Davis,
Yes.
McIntyre.
Yes.
Motion passes. Number 4, we'd like the alley closed and devoid of cars behind the buildings on Fulton Street from Main Street to Swift Street by 12:01 a.m. October 20th, and reopen by 11:59 p.m. October 22nd. I believe that's Friday morning till Sunday night.
So were these closed down last year? I can't remember. No, these are extra. Okay.
With
Both sides of Fulton Street, for the alleys are just behind the Fulton Street apartment.
This is just actually north side. My understanding, please correct me in the back if I'm incorrect, is the alleys behind the buildings that are on the north side of Fulton Street. So nothing on the south side, nothing south of Fulton Street. So it's all north of Fulton Street. The building, behind the buildings, between Main and Swift. So those 2 blocks.
So that's the barn.
Yes.
Yeah, we don't do that for any other festivals, do we?
Correct.
They are somewhat shut down by having Henry Street shut down, but you still have access from the other ends for the people that live there and deliveries for the businesses there.
And for emergency vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to make a motion that we do not close down any alleys during the entire Harry Potter Festival event.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Wellnuts,
Yes.
Candy Davis,
Yes.
Paul Davis,
Yes.
McIntyre.
Yes.
Steen,
Yes.
Motion passes. Number 5, we would like the use and placement of all city-owned bleachers. That's what we do for all the other festivals, so
I'll make a motion to allow, so.
I'll second.
any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Wellnuts,
Yes.
Candy Davis,
Yes.
Paul Davis,
Yes.
McIntyre.
Yes.
Steen,
Yes.
Motion passes. Number 6, we'd like use and placement of any utility spools for tables.
I'll make that as a motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
McIntyre.
Yes.
Candy Davis,
Yes.
Wellnuts,
Yes.
Paul Davis,
Yes.
Steen,
Yes.
Motion passes. We would like use and placement of all garbage barrels, placement to be determined.
I'll make a motion to do so.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Wellnuts,
Yes.
McIntyre.
Yes.
Steen,
Yes.
Candy Davis,
Yes.
Paul Davis.
Yes.
Motion passes. The City of Edgerton provide space for 2 Quidditch pitches, fields adjacent to each other at Racetrack Park. Each field should be 144 by 214 feet, plus room for bleachers.
That's how it was last year.
I was just going to ask that. Is this the same as last year?
I'll make it as a motion. They worked good last year.
I'll second.
Any further discussion?
Yeah, I think we need to be cautious of how we make this motion here, because it is, the number 8 reads that the City of Edgerton provides space for 2 quad pitches for the fields. I mean, if the space ain't there, then to make sure that we're not putting ourselves in a situation where we got to accommodate them by finding that space.
Was there, Tom?
Sounds as though this is the same as last year, so there was adequate.
It functioned that way with those fields, correct?
Yes. Rob? it did function that way, the way you have this written, correct?
Yeah, it
Okay.
went really good.
Yep.
And they were that size, and there was 2 of them.
Correct. Okay, I just want to clarify that.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, Chris.
Anyone else? Bonnie?
I'm here for the Conservation Club too, besides my own business. If they take and use this that weekend, that means the Conservation Club can't rent their building because there'll be no parking. So are we going to get money coming from the organization to pay for our rentals we have to turn down for the weekend? Because you take away, last year they left out because we didn't have any rentals yet booked when they asked us about it. But we don't want to be turning down rentals because of no parking out there.
So why would this make it, and I didn't get out to the Quidditch fields last year, so.
Because they park in that parking lot that we lease is all used.
By the Conservation Club, correct?
Yes, we lease that parking lot, but the Harry Potter Fest takes the parking lot.
So could we, if you have an event that you would be needing to lease that out, first of all, I'd be surprised if anybody in town would want an event that weekend, but you never know. Could we make sure that your designated parking area there would be blocked off, or,
That's what would have to be done
yeah,
Well, it's
so then
your-
you wouldn't be out of anything.
You lease it, right?
now. We lease it.
So you would have the option of not allowing anybody to park there, wouldn't you?
It's a public parking lot.
Yeah.
It's for the parks use, it isn't specifically Conservation Club use, so it would have to be clear in the motion, if you're going to allow them to restrict it, that it be that way.
Yeah. You would have
I
to,
make a minute that, you know, if they have a rental for the Conservation Club, that they need adequate parking. You know, it's a nice facility, you have weddings out there and all sorts of things out there.
so my second would go along with that.
Okay. So the motion is to allow the space for the pitches, and if there's an event, require parking be available for that
At
Conservation
the
Club.
Conservation Club, yes.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
McIntyre?
Yes.
Candy Davis?
Yes.
Wellnitz?
Yes.
Paul Davis?
Yes.
Steen?
Yes.
Motion passes. Number 9, we would like use of the Central and Veterans Park. Most city festivals include the use of racetrack in Central Park. Rental fees are typically waived, but deposits are required.
I'll make a motion to allow the use of Central and Veterans Park as we would any other festival.
I'll second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Candy Davis? Or Wellnitz?
Yes.
Candy Davis?
Yes.
Paul Davis?
Yes.
McIntyre?
Yes.
Steen?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Just as a point of clarification, in case we come, I need to enforce this at some point, are we setting a specific time frame that they're using it for this? Is it Friday, Saturday, Sunday? Is it Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday? It doesn't say in here.
That would have to be something they'd fill out on the actual public event packet, correct?
Well, I think the idea is to have this locked in now so that they know what their options are. And so if we could have some specificity now, it'd probably be useful. I agree it's going to be on the event packet, but to know whether or not they're allowed to use it Wednesday through Sunday, or what's the intent? And perhaps they can explain what they are looking for?
How many days?
We're looking for the 3 days.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday?
Saturday, Sunday, 20 through 22.
Okay.
And just as an aside, the park is still open to the public, so there isn't a gated admission. So that's also something that we consider with other events, is whether or not it's still open to the public. So, setup could be going on while there's still other events going on in the park.
I'll make a friendly motion to that, a friendly amendment to that motion, if I may.
think there's already been a motion, it'd just be a new motion
Yeah.
to.
A new one?
Yeah, I think you voted on that, didn't you?
No, we didn't.
Oh, I apologize, then it would be an amendment.
He wants to be friendly here, Bill.
All right,
okay?
all right.
I voted on it.
I thought we did.
Okay.
Yeah? Okay, never mind.
I'll make a motion that we allow 3 days use of those parks.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Walnuts,
Yes.
McIntyre.
Yes.
Steen,
Yes.
Candy Davis,
Yes.
Paul Davis.
Yes.
Motion passes. Number 10, we would like electrical outlets on the decorative light poles on Henry Street from Fulton Street to Canal and made available for our use.
That what they had last year?
On Henry Street and Fulton Street, I don't recall if anybody plugged into those outlets.
But there are outlets there.
There are.
I don't see no problem with that, really, you know.
Is there a load issue for those outlets
Yeah.
if a bunch of people were to start plugging into those?
Yeah, I think that you should make it clear, either in the record or in your motion, that the system is the system. It isn't set up to run 50 NESCOs. So if you're willing to make it available for their use, then it should be understood that there are limitations to the system, and we probably won't have an electrician available that weekend if things don't go well. So just recognizing what the system was made for, it wasn't made to run vending trucks.
And that the motion include that the outlets that are currently there.
Correct.
Not putting new ones in.
Correct.
I'll make a motion to allow the electrical outlets on the decorative light poles on Henry Street from Fulton Street to Canal made available for use. And knowing that there are limitations on them, and there may not be any additional people available to correct something if they go wrong. And just the outlets that are there, no new ones.
I'll second that.
Did you get all that,
Yeah.
Cindy?
Yeah, good luck with that, so.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Candy Davis,
Yes.
Walnuts,
Yes.
Paul Davis,
Yes.
McIntyre,
Yes.
Steen,
Yes.
Motion passes. Number 11, we would like electrical outlets on decorative light poles on Fulton Street adjacent to the city parking lot at the Depot Cafe and made available for our use.
I'll make that motion.
For a second.
Well, I'll second it for additional conversation.
Right.
So I guess this goes to the same thing, is how many outlets, as long as we use, we allow the ones that are there, we don't put additional ones in, and that we use them for what they're set up to be, the amount of things plugged into them.
No guarantee.
Right.
Right, as is.
As is.
Yep. Okay. Sounds good.
That included in your motion then?
Yeah, I'll put that to the motion. That was very nicely stated.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
McIntyre.
Yes.
Candy Davis,
Yes.
Walnuts,
Yes.
Paul Davis,
Yes.
Steen,
Yes.
Motion passes. Number 12, cooperation with the city for a lighted parade on Friday, October 20th, with a starting time at 6:30 p.m., parade route to be determined.
So the questions I have on this is, what does that mean, cooperation with the city? So I guess we need a little bit more information on that.
I would think it'd be like we do with the other parades where we put up no parking signs if needed and...
Well, and that's what I want to know. If it's, okay, so then I would make a motion that we would do that based on other parades that we help with.
I'll second that.
Similar services that we
Similar
provide to other
services.
parades for
Yes.
festivals.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Candy Davis,
Yes.
Walnuts,
Yes.
Paul Davis,
Yes.
McIntyre,
Yes.
Steen,
Yes.
Motion passes. City coordinate and pay for fireworks following the lighted parade. The city has not paid for a fireworks display for other festivals. Event organizers estimated cost at $7,000 to $11,000. Just for reference, I think the Lions Club spent $12,000 on theirs last year. Give you an idea what.
I'm going to make a motion that the city not coordinate or pay for fireworks following the lighted parade.
I'll second it.
Discussion.
It sounds like a fundraiser type thing, right? That's what the Lions Club did, they fundraise with around town and stuff.
Where would the fireworks be at?
To be determined.
And would this also, though, include, so that's the cost of the fireworks. What about the person to do the fireworks, shoot them off? Because that has to be a certain person that is trained in that, right, or licensed or whatever. So would it include that person too?
Yes,
Is that part of the cost already?
that's part of the cost.
Yes.
And Radke, if they are going to have fireworks, wouldn't you want it coordinated with the city that you had control where it is, when it is, and how safety it is?
Right now, the motion is to not do it.
But if they're going to have it and pay for it themselves, wouldn't you want the
Oh, yeah.
coordination?
They'd be required to have a public event packet. They would be required to get approval for that through a process we have.
That's a good question. Good clarification.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Wellnitz,
Yes.
Steen,
Yes.
Candy Davis,
Yeah, I want to make sure that I'm hearing the motion correctly. Yes means agreeing to not pay for it, correct?
correct.
Correct.
Okay, yes.
Paul Davis,
Yes.
McIntyre,
Yes.
Motion passes. Number 14, the city pays for plants, planting, and maintenance of arborvitae, a minimum height of 4 feet in Central Park for a 1,000 square foot maze to be completed no later than September 30th, 2017.
I'm going to make a motion that the city does not pay for arborvitaes to be planted in Central Park and for arborvitaes to not be planted in Central Park.
Second.
Discussion. Hearing none, roll call.
who was the second on that?
Paul.
Paul, thank you.
May I say something quickly before you vote?
Sure.
I'm Michelle Paulman. I live on 105 Rollins Street, and I'm president of the Arts Council of Edgerton. We do the concerts in the park at the Central Park during the summertime. And although I guess if this were to pass, the placement of it would be very important. You don't want to block that gazebo for public events. Is the space north of the pool, is that also Central Park?
Yes.
That's my only concern is if they were to put something like this up, to not block the gazebo.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Repeat the motion, please.
Motion is that the city does not pay for the planting, for the plants, planting, or maintenance of arborvitae at Central Park.
Thank you. Roll call.
Wellnitz,
Yes.
Paul Davis,
Yes.
McIntyre,
Yes.
Steen,
Yes.
Candy Davis,
Yes.
Motion passes. Number 15, city provide a corn maze.
Make a motion to deny the city paying and providing a corn maze.
Second that.
Discussion.
Yeah, I'd like to also, some of these, particularly the reason to deny this is the amount of money that it's going to cost to do it. So I show here, and these are just estimates, $25,000 to $100,000 for one season, so.
Anyone else? Roll call.
Candy Davis,
Yes.
Walnuts,
Yes.
Paul Davis,
Yes.
McIntyre,
Yes.
Steen,
Yes.
Motion passes. Next item is 16, city purchase and install brackets and banners on every decorative light pole on Fulton Street from Main Street to Albion Street. A couple of us were here when those lights were bought, and we bought those and designed them for the baskets that are on it, with the brackets that are on them, and not to add any additional things to them, but it can be done, so.
I'm going to make a motion that the city not purchase or install brackets or banners on every decorative light pole on Fulton Street from Main Street to Albion.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
So this would have to be in addition to what we have there now? And would it change the look of what's there now?
There was a couple on the taller poles on the edges of the city, and these would be bringing it down quite low with with the brackets and baskets that are on there now. They'd be down quite low. And again, we did purchase them when we redid the downtown a few years ago with the intent of not putting that type of thing on there, so.
Okay.
That was part of the reason for getting the lights that are on there.
About 15 years ago.
That long ago already? Man.
Oh, no, 10.
Okay.
2005.
Okay, any other discussion? Roll call.
Walnuts,
Yes.
Steen,
Yes.
Candy Davis,
Yes.
Paul Davis,
Yes.
McIntyre,
Yes.
Motion passes. Number 17, the City of Edgerton coordinate use of EPAC on October 20th through the 22nd with a waiver of all fees.
So is this something we can even vote on, since we have no control over this?
We can throw number 18 in with that one because it involves the school also.
The high school. So how do we handle this? If we can't vote on it because we have no...
We can vote no that we're not going to do it.
I've shared the information with the superintendent of schools. He's aware of the request, so I assume the coordination and the request would go to the school and the board in charge of the EPAC regarding the waiving of the fees and the use of the facility.
So do we just not do anything with these two, or do we need to make a motion on these, even knowing that we have no control over it?
How do we bypass these two items is what she's saying.
Right. And to be clear, I'd make a motion so that it is clear that you're not coordinating and you're not approaching the school on behalf of the festival.
Okay.
I'll make that as a motion.
For both?
Correct.
I'll second.
Okay, the motion is to deny 17 and 18.
Correct.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Walnuts,
Yes.
Candy Davis,
Yes.
Paul Davis,
Yes.
McIntyre,
Yes.
Steen,
Yes.
Motion passes. 19, cooperation with the City of Edgerton to sell $10 Harry Potter Festival wristbands for the 2017 festival to be sold at City Hall for any Edgerton resident that would like to attend the festival. Money to be deposited weekly to our account.
I'll make a motion to deny that request.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
What's the motion, I'm sorry?
To deny.
All the time.
To deny number 19.
Deny the request.
Yeah. Any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Walnuts,
Yes.
Candy Davis,
Yes.
Paul Davis,
Yes.
McIntyre,
Yes.
Steen,
Yes.
Motion passes. Number 20, request $25,000 from the City of Edgerton to assist in the advertising of Harry Potter Festival in Edgerton, Wisconsin. This cannot be a state grant as we are applying for the state money as well.
I'll make a motion to deny that request.
I'll second.
If I could add regarding grants, there are grants available for certain aspects of these kinds of projects, not just the Harry Potter Festival. And in the past, the council has been very generous in offering staff time to write these grants and administer these grants. So I think that is something certainly we have done in the past and is good for the community. So although they have indicated that we would not be able to apply for grants, I think we should, if the council is in fact keeping in what they've done in the past, that would be something that we certainly could make clear
Absolutely.
to any organizer of a festival, that if there's an opportunity for us to get funding to assist a festival in the community, we would.
Good.
would you like that included in the motion, that we would be willing to help with that?
I think it would be great if it was clear if that's your intent.
Okay.
Since it is spelled out here, it can't be a state grant, we probably ought to.
Yes, so I'll make a friendly amendment to include that as part of the motion, that we are willing to help apply for grants.
If they would like, yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Good with the second?
Yes, was that me?
I think so.
Was I second? Yes.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Walnuts,
Yes.
Candy Davis,
Yes.
Paul Davis,
Yes.
McIntyre,
Yes.
Steen,
Yes.
Motion passes. Number 21, the City of Edgerton coordinate the use of a greenhouse for a Mandrake experience.
Motion to deny.
I'll second it.
Discussion?
So we really don't have a cost for this, but there would be a cost, and this isn't something that we would typically provide for. Obviously, we wouldn't provide something like this for other festivals, but I'm just a little bit concerned about what the cost would be.
The only greenhouse I could think of is, could work with Tim Clark or the high school up there. You know, there's two greenhouses in Edgerton for, to talk or something, I'd be willing to help out on that.
Got Edgerton Floral too that has greenhouses there.
Correct. Yes, 3 of them.
Need the motions to deny. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Candy Davis,
Yes.
Steen,
Yes.
Walnuts,
Yes.
Paul Davis,
Yes.
McIntyre,
Yes.
Motion passes. Number 22, the City of Edgerton pay for bus shuttles up to 12 buses. Event organizers estimated cost $14,000.
I'll make a motion to deny request 22.
What did we do last year? I know they used
Whoops.
shuttle
Is
buses.
there a second?
They paid
I'll
for them.
second it.
They paid for them?
Yes, the city didn't pay for them.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Walnuts,
Yes.
Candy Davis,
Yes.
Paul Davis,
Yes.
McIntyre,
Yes.
Steen,
Yes.
Motion passes. City of Edgerton pay for adequate number of porta potties to accommodate the visitors at the Harry Potter Festival. The number of porta potties will be determined by the festival organizer. Estimated cost $4,000 to $5,000.
I'll make a motion to deny request number 23.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Do we ever do this? I mean, I know you use porta potties at Chili Mania.
Paid for.
You pay for
Paid
your
by the
own.
festivals.
Okay.
Anyone else? Roll call.
Walnuts,
Yes.
Candy Davis,
Yes.
Paul Davis,
Yes.
McIntyre,
Yes.
Steen,
Yes.
Motion passes. Number 24, the City of Edgerton pay for all printed materials. Event organizers' estimated cost was $25,000.
I'll make a motion to deny.
Second.
Any discussion?
It would be interesting to know, too, for Chili Mania and Tobacco Days, do you pay for your own advertising and printing material?
Yes, we pay for all of
Okay.
our own advertising and printing materials.
I think we need to say consistent with that.
Anyone else? Roll call.
Candy Davis,
Yes.
Walnuts,
Yes.
Paul Davis,
Yes.
McIntyre,
Yes.
Steen,
Yes.
Motion passes. Number 25, the City of Edgerton provides office spaces and storage facilities at no cost.
Motion to deny.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Walnuts,
Yes.
Candy Davis,
Yes.
Paul Davis,
Yes.
McIntyre,
Yes.
Steen,
Yes.
Motion passes. Number 26, the City of Edgerton accepts the depot building as is and not need the depot building to return to its condition prior to Scott opening the cafe. Notes here, lease provisions are between the Depot Cafe and the Chamber of Commerce.
I would like actually some clarification on that. I mean, it's a bullet point. I don't know if I really need to make a motion here on it, but that doesn't seem to go along with the rest of the stuff that's directly corresponds with that festival. So I guess I would just like to understand what the purpose of that request is.
It kind of goes in with number 25.
All right, I guess I still don't understand how that relates with 25, but...
Again, the lease is between the Depot Cafe and the Chamber.
Okay, so I'm just going to make a motion then to deny the request 26.
No, we got
I will second that because it looks like we've got somebody that would like to speak, so we have to have a second to open it up for discussion.
Yeah, I'm Jim Capellan, 512 Ridgeway Street. I'm also on the board of the Chamber, and that lease is between the Chamber and Scott for the cafe. So those provisions are different than what the lease is from the city to the Chamber. And so they are two different contracts.
So this is very much like the other two with the high school and the EPAC.
Yes.
We have no control over that, so.
No.
Right, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Any further discussion here? Hearing none, roll call.
Walnuts?
Yes.
Candy Davis?
Yes.
Paul Davis?
Yes.
McIntyre?
Yes.
Steen?
Yes.
Motion passes. Number 27, coordinate with local train company to facilitate a Hogwarts Express train experience.
When any other festival, I know in the past there's been trains in town for different, I think, art festivals and the book festival. I think there's one other time for tobacco days. Did the city ever have any sort of financial input on them trains when they were in the town?
Our train's been a long time ago, and I don't recall if the city put any money into getting the art train here either time. Typically, the city hasn't been the organizer, but I can't, absolutely, it's almost 20 years since the art train's been here. Oh, we have someone in the audience who may have information.
The art train was something that the Arts Council put together.
Okay.
Did, or I think Oriane Pagel wrote grants, wrote up some grant, and then they raised money. I think that was pretty much the Arts Council.
They were the organizers. I didn't know if we had funded any part of it. Don't remember.
This here, I guess to clarify, this really ain't asking for funding. It's
Right.
asking just for coordination.
Coordination,
Correct?
correct. But it doesn't sound like we have in the past anyways.
Yeah, because
We've cooperated, but not coordinated, I would
Correct.
say. We haven't taken the lead on any of the train
Right.
events.
the Book Fest had a art train come in with the Polar Express about 4 or 5 years ago, and the Book Fest just did it on their own, I guess. Mark Scarborough was a big factor in that.
I'll make a motion to deny request 27.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Walnuts?
Yes.
Candy Davis?
Yes.
Paul Davis?
Yes.
McIntyre?
Yes.
Steen?
Yes.
Motion passes. That's the end of the list. I'd like to thank everyone for coming down tonight. I see the salt trucks are out. Be careful going home, especially the people that got to go towards Madison. We're going to let the organizers have this information and let them have whatever time they want to decipher it and decide what they want to do with us. But we would like to have them come back this year and wish them luck to keep the festival going.
Yeah, I second that, Chris, too, you know.
It wasn't a motion. I can't make motions.
Okay. I mean, what you just said, that it's a great festival for the city. I went through it all 3 days last year, and it was a wonderful experience. The kids volunteered, you know, and stuff. Brought a lot of people to the town. There's adjustments to anything that starts up new. I remember Tobacco Days almost 40 years ago. There's some adjustments to it, and other festivals, and hopefully this can continue, with organizers, with this being out there in the press like this and TVs and stuff, maybe people jump in and say, hey, I got a greenhouse, or I got this, and this could be to spur more momentum, possibly, hopefully, that this festival stays in Edgerton. It's a nice thing, We got the chief working with the parking and council members and everyone in the community and the Kramers. I think the idea behind this is just wonderful. I mean, I think people agree. This is very good for the city. It's just working out these details. It's kind of tough sometimes. And no one should admonish these people at all. They're great people. They think about the city. They think about really, really good things for this community in the state of Wisconsin and Midwest by hosting this Harry Potter Festival. You can talk about anyone around the United. I talked to more people last year around the United States that came to the city. That was pretty cool. So hopefully this will continue with people being involved, to make this a festival.
Can I say something? I just want to thank all of you for calling the special meeting. I do appreciate it, taking the time, putting notes together, having the discussions, putting your homework into it. I want to thank all of you that have come, business owners, citizens, who understand it can be a burden to citizens and businesses and the city, obviously. So I really appreciate all that you've done for us. Thank you.
Thank you. Number 4 on the agenda here.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
Well, there's a couple motions in a second or so all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?